What's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here doing another movie review on Captain America, the movie, or Captain America First Avenger, whatever. But I want to give a special thank you and shout out to Sean Long for getting my ass to Comic-Con. Big thanks. So he bought a bunch of stuff off of me, so really appreciate the help, dude. And yeah, so this movie was awesome. I saw this movie when I was in San Diego for Comic-Con, and a big group of us went. But the thing that really stuck out to me was we got to see it on Thursday night. We got these free posters, and so I made some money off of Anthony James's poster because he ended up not being able to see the movie because he was too tired, even though I begged him to stay. I was begging him to stay, and he couldn't make it. But basically, the way we were situated, we sat in the middle of the movie theater. The place was packed, full of dorks, which was awesome. If you guys have seen my Thor movie review, I'm very picky on the kind of audience that we have, the kind of audiences that I see these movies with. It actually really does have a big effect on me, due to, my dad taking us to the city for movies when we were kids and everything, and in San Francisco, very boisterous crowds and everything. So it means a lot to me if the crowd's really into it, and it was. But not only that, is I got to see it with my friends. But the way I was sitting there is I had from Brazil with Love to my right, and who's a funny ass dude who's making little jokes throughout the movie. So I got to see the movie with from Brazil with Love commentary, and then to my left was Mario Capone, and to the left of him, and Mario's a pretty quiet guy, but I could see him getting into it and everything. But Sean Long was sitting to the left of Mario, and Sean, me and Century Productions had seen Iron Man 2 together, but it was all our second time seeing it. But this is the first time seeing, a brand new movie with Sean. And we talked about, from my other reviews, we talked about how, we both really like it and pumped and excited. And man, that experience of watching the movie with Sean like that and him geeking out like the same way I was, it was just really cool because I really liked this movie. There's a lot of fan service in this movie, and things that would pop up that we really got into were, it was just cool going, enjoying those experiences at the same time and everything. It was cool. It was a romantic moment. I'll go ahead and say that. Yeah, it was. All right. I'm not ashamed of it. All right. It was cool. But, so, spoiler alert. I do like to give the spoiler. I want to start out talking about the negatives, because I really like this movie, so I like to start with the cons. If I don't like the movie, I like to start with the pros. So, number one thing, we saw this movie in 3D. Not worth seeing it in 3D, man. It's just not. I didn't think the 3D was really appropriate for this movie. I didn't get a big... I didn't really see... the benefit of watching this movie in 3D. So, if you still haven't seen it, it's been out for a couple weeks now. My ass has been busy since I've been back from Comic-Con. It's just, I wouldn't front the extra few bucks to see it in 3D. Nah, not worth it. Now, it's actually close to like an extra $4, I think, to see it in 3D. Actually, I did see this movie twice. The only summer movie I've seen twice. I've talked about seeing a lot of these movies more than once, and in the theater, and this is the only one I've actually seen twice, because my brother hadn't seen it, my girlfriend hadn't seen it, my little cousin hadn't seen it. I might see it a third time, because Radine didn't get to see it. He was out partying with Marvel people while we were out at watching the movie, so Radine's getting all, all fancy out there. No, I'm proud as hell for the guy. But, so there's that. Another thing I really didn't like, which wasn't a big deal. Actually, the things I didn't like about the movie were actually very nitpicky, but I really did notice that when Dr. Erskine dies, from that point on, it seemed almost shot for shot from Spider-Man 1. It really did. Well, I gotta sneeze. Alright. Oh, I just sprayed all my figures. Cool. That's the DCU sees. It's okay. But, it's like from the moment where he's looking down at his body, he looks up, and he runs down the street and is chasing the guy, and then he's jumping from car to car, and then the guy's shooting, through the roof and everything. That was like, wow, I really feel like this is almost exactly from Spider-Man 1. Just kind of altering the powers a little bit to match Captain America. So, that was kind of like, oh, all right, let it go, not a big deal. And then the other thing that kind of bothered me, it just irked me, was I didn't get to see the huge ricochet shield that I really wanted to see. I didn't get to see that in this movie. What I wanted to see was something where the shield bounces off like 2 or 3 Hydra soldiers and comes back and he catches it, you know? Didn't get to see that in this movie. It did ricochet. There was one scene where it did ricochet, but the way it was shot was a little confusing and I didn't really understand it. It was part of actually one of the clips that Marvel's YouTube put up, which is another thing I didn't really like. And I actually didn't like this about the Green Lantern movie too, is that Superhero Hype had posted up some serious clips, and you know, Marvel's YouTube put up some serious clips of some action stuff, and it's like, I kind of wish I didn't see that. I'd rather, so next time I'll just wait for the movie. I'm going to hold myself back from seeing clips like that, because it did, you know, kind of spoil it a little bit for me, and I really hate spoilers, so that bothered me. But aside from that, though, man, the movie was fantastic. Just the pacing of it, the characters. Steve Rogers was great, man. I just thought the way they told that story was just fantastic. You really care about the character in it. Now, here's the thing: is that I felt like that was really important, because Captain America is supposed to represent Americans, and the story of the American is that, you know, not necessarily now in modern times, but, you know, in our history, we're the and I'm a fan of history. I'm not a huge history buff, but aside from reading comic books, I do like to read books on not history books, but, you know, books on history and politics, basically. But that our country, you know, was founded by a bunch of people that went against the majority. It started out as a religious thing, really. You know, these Protestants, you know, wanted to get away from the Catholic oppression, and you know, they just basically just ran away and said, we're going to start, you know, we're going to go live somewhere else, we're going to start our own thing. And then as, you know, as these colonies grew, the people actually really, you know, started to feel that, well, I'm telling you, you guys know the whole history, okay? The Revolutionary War and all that, okay? So basically we're the underdogs, okay? You know the story. If you don't, really, shit, man, okay? But, you know, we're basically the underdogs that fought against this huge empire. And that's like the story of Steve Rogers, is that he's this little guy. He's the underdog. And it's actually his spirit and his inner strength is what carries him through to become a bigger person. And I love that they did that with this movie, that Erskstein's formula like pulls out the inner strength and has it come out and everything. And I just thought that was very well done. They told that story, you know, he was never afraid of a fight, you know, no matter how bad the odds were. And and just, I don't know, I just thought that it was just really well done. I loved that. The other thing that was really cool was, damn, Red Skull, dude. Wow, Red Skull. For me, he was my favorite part of the movie. And I didn't feel like there was anything wrong with Chris Evans' acting or Chris Evans as Captain America. I really actually loved him as Captain America. But Hugo Weaving as Red Skull really made one of my top favorite comic to movie adaptations ever. There's very few that are up there. I guess Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. Those three I could think of at the top of my head are just absolute perfect adaptations. Just perfect. Maybe because, you know, the nature of the characters, it's a little easier to translate them. I don't know, but I just felt like the way that those actors portrayed those characters is just dead on perfect. I loved it. So Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. And then the thing is that, you know, halfway through the movie we don't actually see him as the Red Skull. You just see like the scars right here on the side, or the mask being put together and everything. And then, you know, when he sees Cap, you know, on the other side of that bridge, you know, he just tears it off and he throws it down into the fiery explosion, and then that's it. You don't see a flesh Red Skull. You see the Red Skull for the rest of the movie, man. And just the way he talks and everything. And then there's scenes where it's like, where he's getting pissed and he kind of grinds his teeth, you know. He's like, argh. It's wow, it looks just like comic book cutouts or something, man. It's just straight out of comics. Oh, just so cool. I loved it, and I love the way he talked, you know, like, oh, I think one of my favorite parts of the movie was like, Captain America. What did he say? Arrogance is not a unique trait amongst Americans, but you seem to harness it perfectly. What makes you think you're so special, you know? And Chris Evans says, you know, nothing. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. And it's just like, it's just like, he just pisses him off even more. I just love that. You just see the contrast between those two characters too, because, you know, Red Skull has a superiority complex and everything. He wants to take over the world, and you know, Captain America sees himself as just a regular guy, you know, just doing what he can. So I just love that. I love the characters in this movie, man. That's how I feel like with any storytelling. If you don't love the characters, then the whole movie or story is fucked, you know, or else you don't care what happens to them, right? So I thought that was amazing. I thought all the other characters were great too. I thought Peggy, gotta sneeze again. Okay, it went away. But I thought Peggy Carter was fantastic. Really, really hot chick, man. And she didn't really show any skin too. That's what we were all talking about. Dude, she was really fucking hot, right? Like, yeah, she was really hot, but she didn't even show anything. Like, really, yeah, it was like old school hot, dude. It was really, really cool. My girlfriend said that she had crazy saggy titties, but not really. I mean, the way they wore their waistband back in the day was like really hiked up. That's why old people still wear their pants all the way up to their belly button and shit, you know? So that's just, you know, that was just the style back then. It looked like her boobs were a lot lower than they were, and plus they were like really big tits, so it was cool. And they were like busting out of there. She was fucking fine, and really strong character too. I read the Captain America First Vengeance, I think, is a 4-part series that came out, and that was really good to read because they didn't really spoil anything from the movie, but they told a lot more of the story behind Peggy Carter and Johann Schmidt, so that was really cool. I loved how they showed Arnim Zola. See, like the fan service thing, like when they first show Arnim Zola, you see him like under the magnifying glass thing, you know, kind of looking like he's, you know, like his changed self and everything. And that was like Sean and I were like, oh shit, like, oh damn. Or like when Bucky picks up the shield. Oh man, that was a sick ass scene, dude. Bucky picks up Cap's shield and he fires the gun. Dude, that was really like, oh, Bucky Cap. It's like you could hear Sean like saying that shit like simultaneously. Like, oh, sick. It was cool. There was like a couple of big kids, man. It was a good time. But man, I really liked the movie. There's like, I remember Solid Snake said he didn't really like the montage. Quorum TV said the same thing. He didn't dig the montage, which I kind of, you have to admit, okay, it was kind of just thrown in there. Like once he's really Cap, it's kind of just, it just kind of goes into it and everything. But I felt that was necessary because, you know, there's him and the Howling Commandos. I don't know if it's the legitimate Howling Commandos or not, but, you know, they go on their missions and stuff because you can't expect them to defeat... For me, it would have been really weak if they just needed one mission to defeat Red Skull, you know? So I thought that was cool that they just show them going through a bunch of missions together and everything, kicking ass. Especially that showing Captain America just not winning this battle or this war just all on his own. You know what I mean? Or this war against the Red Skull just all on his own. So I thought that was very cool too. I really loved all the characters in the movie. Bucky was really cool. I think Anthony James said that he didn't like how Bucky was more of just Cap's friend and not really his sidekick. I actually liked it more that he was his friend, that, you know, it added more character development, I think. You know, that it was like Bucky was a stronger kind of person and everything, or physically in there, and turns out that Cap, you know, ends up being, you know, so they kind of switch roles right there. So that was kind of neat. And then Howard Stark was really, really cool. Like, you get to see, you know, like Iron Man in a way. So that was really awesome. I really, really liked that character. Kind of made me like you know, Tony Stark a little bit more just from seeing that. I like the amount of love story that there is in the movie. Like, they didn't do it too much. Same thing like what they did with Thor. It's like they just gave us the right amount of love story in there. It was perfect. I just thought that they nailed that. That seems to be the biggest flaw with superhero movies or comic book movies, is that they give us too much of a love story when we're not there to see a love story, you know? And see, that's the thing. I think they do that shit because it's like they're trying to like sell it to the chicks. But the thing is that in order to get people to play these superheroes, they gotta be yoked, handsome dudes. Dude, that's enough for them, you know? I think, like, my girlfriend said that she liked Thor more than Cap, Mostly because of Chris Hemsworth. So she's getting wet off of Chris Hemsworth, man. That you don't need to tell a love story. She's already fucking rubbing it out to fucking Chris Hemsworth and shit, you know? Not literally. What's she doing right now? I like how they portrayed Cap's strength. Some people complained about that, but I thought that was really cool. You know, like he'd punch people and they'd go hella far. The way he'd whack them with the shield and everything. I just thought that was really sick. I like the action. I like that they actually brought in his bike and everything. He had his Harley, which was really cool. I thought I liked how, I loved the transformation of the costume. That was really cool, because Cap does kind of have a goofier looking costume compared to most. They did that whole thing with him being a, being a propaganda tool, like how he was originally created to be. That was brilliant, man. I was like, the moment when they did that and you see him in the goofy outfit and reading off the shield there, I was like, oh my god, I love this movie. This is brilliant. Wow, this is genius. I could not have imagined it even better. I thought that was great. And then you see him in his World War II outfit, because he's got his jacket on and he's still the helmet and everything. So you see World War II Cap, and then eventually you see, the Captain America costume, which I thought was awesome. I just really loved how they put that together. That was really, really well done. I like how they bled this into the Avengers. I thought that was really, really great. They did more of it than I thought. If you see my Comic-Con 2010 review, I mentioned in that video that I thought that this movie would end with Cap in the ice, but they went even further. So the movie started with Cap in the ice, and then it goes back to him waking up in Shield's in the Shield holding cell or something, and Cap breaks out of it, very Ultimates kind of thing, and Nick Fury's there in the street telling him that he's been asleep for almost 70 years. It's like, whoa, what? Then then at the end of the movie, after the credits, they show us the Avengers trailer. Oh man, or Avengers teaser, whatever. That was sick as hell. So I'm very, very pumped, very, very stoked. I had a great experience watching this movie. I can't wait to see the Avengers. Gonna have to see the Avengers with Sean for sure, because that was just, it really does mean a lot to me who I see these movies with and everything, and it was just very, very cool having that experience. It did mean a lot to me. So that was awesome. That was just a great movie, great experience. And so thanks for watching, you guys, and I will catch you later. Hope I didn't forget anything. Okay, peace.